Hey guys, Ray from Love Your RV. Well, it's getting very close to summer now, only a few more days and we'll have the first official day of summer, and it's starting to warm up quite nicely here on Vancouver Island. So it's time for a project I've been waiting to do on the roof. I guess about a month or so ago I redid the slide roof and actually changed the fabric on it. Removed the old EDPM rubber roof and added some SuperFlex roofing, and so far that's been good. But the main roof is still in pretty good shape, so I don't want to replace the material in the main roof, and that would be quite the hassle, taking off all my solar panels and everything to pull off that that fabric. I think I still have a number of years left in it, but I saw that Lippert had some of this Alpha System stuff now, and they have a acrylic roof coating, a top coat sealer, and you can actually apply that onto the existing rubber roof and kind of gives you a little bit more protection, a little bit longer life. It also will whiten up the roof quite a bit, which will help in the summer to keep things a little cooler. My roof, you know, over the years is kind of starting to go, and it's getting darker and darker, and more of the underlying black is starting to show through. So I went to the instructions on the website of Alpha Systems, and they said if I do the rubber roof that the type I have to first put a primer on it, and it said this 810 acrylic water-based adhesive. This is the same stuff that I used to stick down the SuperFlex roofing. So I have about a gallon of that, I think, and a gallon of the acrylic roof coating. So that goes down first, and then you wait around 20 minutes or so, and then you cover it with that, and they say to do it in sections. Also, before I get into that, I'm going to spruce up what's on the roof there and make sure I reseal anything before this stuff goes over it. So I've been using, over the years, as some of you know, I've been using the Eternabond tape, so it's all over my seams and stuff like that. I'm hoping this stuff's going to stick to it okay. I imagine it will. It says it pretty well sticks to anything. But I'm going to try their roof seal repair tape that they have, the Alpha System. So this is going to be very similar to the Eternabond. If you remember when I did my slide roof, I said I was going to put this along the flashing, the outer flashing. So I'll do that and then replace any of the Eternabond. I've had some up there for 6.5 years. A few places, some of it's lifted a bit, so I might redo a few sections, and then just overall clean everything up. I'm going to try their rubber roof cleaner, see how it works, and prep the roof, and then we'll get to coating the thing. So I got a nice cool overcast day today, so I'm starting to wash the roof and give it a really good scrub. Pretty firm bristled brush here, and I'm using some of the LA's Totally Awesome cleaner. I find it works really well, but your mileage may vary. Consult your roof maker, find out what's the best. Usually people use like Spick and Span, or I use like Dawn dish soap and stuff, but I find this LA's Totally Awesome cuts it pretty good, at least for the first run. You can see where the dirt is I haven't done. You can see where I've done it. I haven't done it under the satellite dish yet, but it does a pretty good job. Pulled the vents off and did under them. Everything's in pretty good shape. All the Eternabond tape's still in good shape and holding out well. A lot of it was done 5-6 years ago. So I've also started adding some of the lap sealant. I have the Alpha Systems lap sealant. So I'm refreshing a lot of the satellite hold downs, different things around the vent covers where it's all round. It's hard to put the tape around, and my Wi-Fi booster there. Just get a fresh layer of that stuff before I put the coating on. So I'll continue cleaning off the roof, do one coat with that. I'll probably do some spot cleaning with the Alpha Systems roof cleaner. Really get everything as clean as I can before I put anything on. I guess that's the trick. Always surface prep is the trick. See, I've redone the back here of my junction box around the ladder with new lap sealant. There's the roof I put in about a month or so ago, and you can see where I've run the Alpha Bond tape, and it went down pretty good. Unfortunately, I screwed up and didn't get my time lapse of me putting it down, so I'll link back to my video on a Turnabond tape. It's much the same. Basically, you clean the surface underneath really well, and then you peel it back and you lay it down, peeling as you go. And you don't want to stretch the tape. You just want it to lay flat. So I find it's best if you peel just a little bit of the tape, lay it down. It's got kind of a plasticky backing to it. You don't want to pull it all off, because if it ever gets around and sticks to itself, it can hardly get it apart. And then once you get it down, I usually use a seam roller, because it's pressure activated, the sealant in it. So my hands I can push pretty hard, especially around corners and stuff like that. And the main part I'll get that seam roller and really give it some good pressure. And I find that's really done a good job with the tapes. Different areas I've patched. Add a staple pop there, put a patch. That part there was just a protection for where my old TV antenna used to lay down. And then you've seen I've used the tape to guide wires and things like that. I find it's really handy for that. You don't have to put any hole in your roof, and it holds the wires down for you. Anyway, we'll get to work and keep on cleaning. Well, we got a pretty warm day, over 80 degrees today, so I thought I'd do a repair job with the Alpha Bond. Like I said, I had put some along my slide flashing, but there's some of my Turnabond tape that I put out 6 years ago or so, and it's getting kind of beat up because I've used that part of the RV for taking the air conditioner off, and I've kind of mangled it a bit and cut it, and that's also where the hose rubs. So this is the Alpha Bond, which looks very similar. The plastic backing is slightly different, seems a little bit thicker. This looks a little bit more shinier, but same deal, it's super sticky. Anyway, I'll just go up there and we'll see if we can give you a look at me changing out the older Turnabond that's there. So I decided to cut the section out because it was starting to lift from underneath, and I was wondering why. I wanted to make sure water hadn't gotten under there, but it looks dry. The wood looks good over there, and it's stuck down there, but you can see how on the end here they have steel, and so I guess when they put the glue down, the glue soaks into the wood fine, but maybe it didn't quite get on the steel. And me dragging my hose here over the years, this is where my hose comes up, and I was dragging my hose along here and it was pushing on the rubber roof, so it come loose from the underlying area. So I think it's just best to cut that out. I'm actually going to put a strip, I've got some spare roofing of the SuperFlex. I'm going to put some SuperFlex under there and glue it down, and then I'll put the Alpha Bond tape over it, like, you know, I've done in other sections here. I think that should be a good patch job. So change of plans. I'm just going to use 2 layers of this tape. Remove the backing here. A lot of people probably think I'm a little psycho and gone a little overboard on the roof tape, but I sure was happy when we had to spend the winter here in the Pacific Northwest and had like 4 months of storm after storm. No leaks, that's the important thing. So there we go. See, the water comes down, and I actually put a piece of tape underneath there as a piece of rope just to make a DIY gutter, so the water comes off and goes down by the ladder there, drops into the gutter and out the spout rather than pooling in the corner. That other piece of tape there is where I had my cell booster. I took it off because it was just rotting out in the weather, but usually what I'll have is I had that for the cord where it goes into the junction box. So I'll probably put that back in place when we go on a big trip again. Although cell boosters these days aren't as useful as they once were. The cell coverage is much better. And hopefully we'll have the Starlink service as well in those remote areas where we don't get good cell service. Anyway, got that patch in place now, so gives you kind of a look how that tape works. Well, I spent a good day up there on the roof. I think I finally got it all prepped and ready to go. I'll give you a look at it in a second. This is what I did to clean it. First, I went with this totally awesome cleaner and mixed it with water in a pretty hard bristled brush and really scrubbed it. Then I went up there after that with a softer bristle and just went over with Dawn, mainly to get rid of any of that was left. Gave it a really good rinse. And then I went into any trouble spots with acetone. It's good for cleaning off the old die core and stuff and get as much grime as I could off with that. And finally I used this Alpha Systems rubber roof cleaner to kind of go and spot clean any remaining spots that were showing any dirt and some of my footprints and everything. So I think I got everything pretty well prepped. So we're going to go in sections, like I say, do the Alpha Systems acrylic 8010 adhesive and then the coating. Also took off my vent covers. If anybody's interested, I used the fantastic vents, mainly because they're quite a nice big large vent, so they move quite a bit of volume of air if you're using the fan. I find they're pretty good, other than if the wind is blowing straight in like that, because they have such large openings for airflow. You can get some rain going into your camper when it's like that. Sometimes if we're in a really bad monsoon type sideways wind rainstorm, sometimes we have to close our vents. But other than that, they performed really well. And some of these have been on there 5-6 years and they still look almost brand new. One thing I did notice is some of the washers they give you started to rust, kind of stain some of the plastic, but I guess that's to be expected when you spend a lot of time near the ocean. Anyway, let's go up and I'll give you a look at the roof. Then we can kind of give you a before and after once I get it coated. Here's the back end. So it actually looks pretty good. Not bad for a 10-year-old rubber roof. Got most of the stains away. Gone through and redone everything with that lap sealant. Took me about 5 or 6 tubes to complete it, but I might as well do it now while I'm doing all this roof work. Like I say, I went and covered all my brackets for my solar panels and redid the front as well. So all ready to go. Just have to move my Starlink dish around while I'm doing it. Usually I have it mounted at this old TV antenna here. I pulled it off so that I could get a really good seal around that mount. Let's move it over there for now. Anyway, stay tuned. Now comes the fun part. Okay, well, we got a start on it today. That's what we got so far. It's first coat. Been going along in sections. You can see here I have some of the glue rolled down, and I have to wait around 20 minutes for the primer adhesive to dry a bit before I can put the top coat over it. So I've been going kind of in sections, timing myself, moving along. You can see the color difference there, it's quite dramatic. Getting towards the end here. So I did an oopsie. Unfortunately it's warm today, so our AC came on and you can see where the drip went through there, and this being water based, before it dries it's gonna like take it away, so we're gonna have to use a fan today. I'm gonna finish this part tomorrow in the morning when it's much cooler. I think this thing takes somewhere around 5 to 6 hours to cure the top coat. So tomorrow I'll come up and put my second coat on. You can see through in parts there. Didn't get too much on the first coat. I didn't know how thick to get it on or how much I have. Anyway, that's where we are so far. Okay, so I have both coats on. I'll give you a look at the finished roof here while I give you some background on this product. It says once cured, this material reflects heat and light to provide a cooler roof. It also adds durability and UV light resistance as well as low temperature flexibility. It exhibits self-compatibility, and thus it can be recoated as often as needed. So that's pretty cool. You can just clean it off and recoat on top of it when you need to. It can be applied to a wide variety of roofing surfaces, actively bonds to polyurethane foam, aluminum, galvanized steel, fiberglass, and cured concrete. It also can be applied to the EPDM membrane, which is what I have. So the EPDM rubber roof is comprised of 2 layers, a black layer which is attached to the wood decking of the RV, and a white layer which is the visible part of the roof. As the rubber roof ages, it's common for the white membrane to show signs of wear. Over time, the white top layer of the membrane may become so thin that the black bottom layer becomes visible. Alpha's 2-part primer and coating system can be applied to your EPDM rubber roof membrane to slow down this natural aging process. In addition, it will restore your roof membrane to its original white color. So one thing I noted though in the PDF I read, a special note here, the seal and top coat should be only applied to roof membranes that do not exhibit any leaking. This product is not intended to function as a patch. If your roof is leaking, we recommend you take it to a service center for evaluation. So basically, this isn't going to, if you have a leaky roof, this isn't going to help you at all. You're still going to have a leaky roof. It's not meant to be a patch. So that's why I went to great extents to use the tape and the lap sealant to make sure everything was sealed right up tight before I went and put the coating over. But I think it came out pretty good. Okay, everything back in place, looking good. Give you a little close-up of this stuff. You can see it's kind of textured where my brush strokes were. Feels a little bit rubbery. There we go. I'll leave product links in the description and links to anything related or stuff I mentioned. And we'll test this for a while. I'll come back after using it, say 6 months or a year, and give you an update on how it's performed. Till next time, Ray from loveyourrv.com. Thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers, folks.